to Cloverbells here, back with another Series 11 team building video, and this is going to be our fourth one for the month of January. It is going to be Kyurem-White. Now, we did use Kyurem-White on the channel before, and we even fixed the Kyurem-White team as part of a tier 2 perk for team fixing, but this time we're going to make our own version of Kyurem-White. So yeah, strap yourselves in and be sure to tune in to see what we got here. So Kyurem-White, again, some of those positives is that you're going to have a good matchup into Kyogre because you're going to resist a lot of its attacks, and you have this move called Freeze Dry, right, which lets you deal big damage to those bulky water types like a Kyogre, like a Blastoise, like a Lapras, like a Tapu Fini. So Kyurem-White has that high damage output because if you also look at its base special attack stat of 170, okay, that, you know who else has a base attack stat of 170? Zacian, except in its physical form. And yes, I understand Zacian gets a +1, but we get a Life Orb. So a Life Orb Kyurem is comparable to Zacian just on the special side, just because we have that Life Orb and Zacian gets a +1. So Kyurem-White hits like a truck. All right, now the question is, how do we support Kyurem-White? Because although we have a good matchup into Kyogre, what about everything else? You know, we still die to Zacian because we're an ice type, so Behemoth Blade just wipes us out, especially if we're Dynamax. So we need something for that matchup. And you know, of course, the Calyrex you need a little bit more against those, and then, you know, something like what else? Well, the Sun matchup, right? So, you know, you have to consider the top 5 anytime you're team building in a restricted format. You know, you always want to consider, what are my top 5 Ubers? Do I have an answer for those 5? And then, you know, things like Zekrom or, you know, Lugia, we don't care about, you know, but those are the ones that we have to consider, and then still have things like Fake Out and Speed Control, and you know, things like that sort of thing. So what can you do with Kyurem-White? So, you know, it has that speed tier where, you know, it's kind of fast, but not that fast, and it's not that slow either. You know, base 95 speed tier. So, you know, easily you can go Whimsicott. This is what a lot of people like to do. Tailwind Whimsicott with Kyurem-White, and I think that's fine. I think that might be the best way to do it. But you know, I'm just not a Whimsicott player. We know that. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you know I don't use Whimsicott. You know, if I were to make this team for someone else, yeah, I would probably just put Whimsicott. You know, because it's more standard, it's easier. But if you're anything like me, we're going the other route. We're going with the other fairy. We're going with the other secondary mascot on the channel. We're going with Grimmsnarl here. Okay, and of course it is going to be a light clay set. Okay, so the thing is, you know, I like Grimmsnarl. You know, I just like playing my Mons bulky, and of course I'm gonna rely on screen support, so this way I can take that damage even if I don't go first, and then just hit you hard right back. And by you know, hiding behind my screens, you know, I should be able to win in the end game, especially in the best of 3 format. Okay, so we've got Kyurem-White, we've got the Grimmsnarl, so we might as well just go ahead and reveal that GIF right here, right now. Okay, so then how do we go from here? So we got a Dragon type, we got a Fairy type. You know I need a Steel type, and of course I'm gonna go Metagross here. I feel like Metagross is just one of the best Dynamax Steel types in the game, if not the best Dynamax Steel type in the game, if your name is not Solgaleo. So Metagross here is gonna make an appearance. Does really well against Zacian, especially because we're gonna have a Max Quake move. We're gonna have the Weakness Policy item, of course. And just overall puts a lot of pressure and doesn't get stat drops or intimidate spam because of a clear body. So really nice to have on the team. So we got a Dragon type, we got a Fairy type, we got a Steel type. We need something a little bit more for Zacian. So we'll go with a Fire type this time. And you know, Metagross's best partner is, in my opinion, Entei. Entei, one of the better Fire types in a restricted format, right? Just because you can deal so much pressure with Sacred Fire. You have speed control with Bulldoze. You have a dark move Snarl for Calyrex Shadow, and you know, extreme speed for a priority, right? Just overall a really good mon, especially if you have the Assault Vest item with it, which is what we're going to put on it. So Entei Metagross, very nice combination. So let's just go ahead and reveal those GIF. Here's the Entei, here's the Metagross, and where's the Entei? Right there. Okay, now last but not least, these last two slots. So we're going to need, again, more speed control and something a little bit more for Kyogre here. And I think Rillaboom just does the job perfectly. And it gives you fake out pressure on top of all of that, you know. So Rillaboom, very much appreciated of the Grimmsnarl screens. And, you know, you just got, you know, something in the back to rely on just in case if you ever need it. Okay, so Rillaboom is here. And then finally, just, you know, more matchups into those flying types and just more speed control in general. Regieleki just makes a whole lot of sense here on a Kyurem-White team. So let's just reveal those two GIFs. And again, you know, with Regieleki, you have that fast Electroweb, you know, just so that you can get more speed control on top of the Bulldoze from the Entei. And you already know we're going to run Scary Face on the Grimmsnarl. So yeah, if you look at this 6, this was the same 6 that I used back in Series 8. It was a very good team. So yes, we're bringing it back, but the EVs are going to be a little bit different than what we used back then, as well as some of the movesets, but not too much different. But yeah, this is just the way I like to play Kyurem-White. Again, if you want to put Whimsicott over the Grimmsnarl, if you're that kind of player, you go ahead and you put your Whimsicott over your Grimmsnarl. Okay, but you know, that's not how I like to play Pokemon. I like to play it bulky behind screens. Okay, so yeah, now let's just go ahead and round out the rest of the moves, the EVs, and the items. Okay, so you already know that we're going with a Life Orb, Freeze Dry already on our Kyurem. So let's go with the Dragon Stab. Let's go with Draco Meteor, Max Worm Wind to reduce attack. This is always very much welcome. Earth Power, you know, Spidef boosts are always great, and you know, something to hit Zacian with, especially Incineroar as well. You know, so Max Quake is always good, and Protect in the final slot. So this is a very standard Kyurem-White set. Now, how are we going to do the EVs? So at first, you know, I was considering Modest for a very long time, and the thing is with Modest, if you can go max speed, you hit 147. But the problem with this is after a, you know, whether it's Bulldoze or Electroweb or something, 147 times 1.5, if you do the calc, is going to get you to 220, and that you're going to speed tie Jolly Zacian. And I think that's, you know, not great that you have to rely on a speed tie if you want to be able to KO Zacian. And Zacian is the #1 restricted. If it wasn't the #1 restricted, I might live with it, right? But because it is, I think that's enough merit where we have to go timid. All right, unfortunately. But that's still okay, because, you know, Timid Kyurem with Life Orb still hits like a truck. And I'll show you what kind of attack stat we're going to hit when we optimize this thing. But for Timid, you can go 148 if you want to outspeed Zacian. But then at this point, you might as well just go to 149 or even 150, just so that after a -1 drop from Aleki or Entei, you outspeed Calyrex Shadow. You know, you might as well go for that if you're just going to go timid. So I think that's what we want. And then from here, we can just max out our special attack. Look at that, 222. That's basically Jolly Zacian, okay? But in special attack form. So you're hitting like a truck, in all honesty. And then from here, you can just optimize your HP for Life Orb chip. So again, you want to end in a 9. 209 is what you want, because remember, Life Orb damage, you're losing 1/10 of your HP per turn. So 209 divided by 10, 20.9, which rounds down to 20 Life Orb chip per turn. If you break the threshold and you go to 210, now you're getting 21 HP damage per turn, and you don't want that. You want to undercut that by going to 209. And then from here, just a tiny bit of Spidef, and then the rest in defense, right? So, you know, just nothing too crazy here. It's just leftover EVs at this point. But yeah, that's our Kyurem-White spread. Outspeed, Calyrex Shadow, optimized Life Orb chip, and the rest just in your special attack set. General formula. Okay, Grimmsnarl set. All right, so we're light clay, so of course we're gonna go with Reflect and Light Screen. You know, I think that's relatively standard, and Scary Face will be our speed control tech of choice. You know, you can go Thunder Wave if you're one of those, but you know, Scary Face to me is just a little bit better, just so that I can use that against Landorus. But again, you know, I have a Kyurem-White. I'm not really concerned about Landorus. But anyway, from here, what we do want is, of course, our Fairy Stab, which is Spirit Break. Now, We would go with our normal Grimmsnarl EV spread here, but the thing is that's only if I have a max Airstream user next to Grimmsnarl, but I don't have Airstream on this team, so I have to adjust the EVs just a little bit. But we're still going with Careful Nature, and we're still going to go to the bump here, which I believe is 116 investment. Yeah, there it is. And again, if you don't know what an EV bump is, feel free to comment in the video. I feel like I answered this question at least once every video. If you don't know what an EV bump is, but here it is. When you go to 119, one more investment, boom, you go to 121. You skip that 120 attack. All right, I'm sorry, in the SPDF department. But yeah, that's the second EV bump. And then from here, we just want, 4 attack and 4 speed, just to outspeed other potential Grimmsnarls. But again, it's not a whole big deal. 236 in HP, and then the rest you just dump in your defense. I think it's totally fine. But yeah, this is just a bulky Grimmsnarl. No Airstream to affect our EV spreads. Otherwise, I would aim to go to 84 so that you outspeed base 100s after a +1. But because we have so much, Bulldoze and Electrowebs, maybe we can still go for that. Now that I think about it, I think we can. So actually, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna alter our spread a little bit. We'll do it like this. All right. Let's go to 198. Yeah, we'll just go with our normal spread. Yeah. So 84, right? Because we have Bulldoze, we have Electroweb. I think it's fine. Just to go for this kind of thing. So we'll outspeed base 100s after we give them a -1 drop from Bulldoze or Electroweb. And then we also have Scary Face, so might as well. Even though Scary Face is a -2 drop. Alright, okay, so Metagross here. Alright, so we'll go Adamant here. Of course. Oh, that's Bashful. So I like to go with this kind of speed here with my Metagross. So 112 is a common speed, just so that you outspeed base 100s after a Bulldoze proc. But I'm going to go one more above it, and let's just go 113. So this way we outspeed those speed creepers that want to outspeed base 100s. But I will go second EV bump here with my Metagross. So it should be at 116. Yep, there it is. So you see how you went from 185, and then this is the next EV bump. Boom, 187. There it is. All right, and then from here, just 1 point in the SPDF and defense, and then just dump the rest in your HP stat. So that's our Metagross, and I kind of like shiny Metagross. Sorry guys. Iron Head. Okay, that's Iron Defense. Holy cow. Yep, there it is. Stomping Tantrum, this is Max Quake. So again, Metagross really good at boosting its defenses but with these Max Steel Spikes and Max Quakes. Now you can go Ice Punch, but we already have an Ice Stab on the Kyurem, so Rock Slide is pretty good. And then finally Protect in the last slot. Okay, so that's our Metagross. Entei here, we'll go with our standard Entei set, our AV set. So we want to be Max Speed Jolly. Alright, just 1 point in the HP, just to optimize the Sand and Hail chip that we're going to take from either Max Hailstorm or Max Rockfall. And then from here, we just need a little bit of SPDF just for that magic 103 prime number. And then just 1 point in defense, and then just max out your attack stat. So this is our normal AV Entei spread. Okay, and it lives quite a bit, and I'll show you some damage calcs with this kind of AV spread, especially with Grimmsnarl screens. Entei and Grimmsnarl screens is very, very nice. But anyway, Sacred Fire is what you want. This is what's going to be really devastating against those steel types, especially Zacian, Bulldoze. This is how we're going to proc the weakness policy on the Metagross. Snarl, this is good for Calyrex Shadow, just to deal 4 times damage to it and then make it -1. Really, really punishing. And then finally, Extreme Speed. Actually, I'm just gonna make it like this: Extreme Speed here, Bulldoze here, and then Snarl in the last slot. Just for aesthetics. Okay, Rillaboom here. So Grassy Surge, of course, Miracle Seed, just so that we're the hardest hitting kind of Rillaboom. Normal Rillaboom spread here that I like to go with. Adamant will max our attack stat. Okay, and then we'll optimize our HP for Grassy Terrain, which is going to be at 192, because 192 divided by 16 is 12, so we get a perfect 12 HP recovery every turn from the Grassy Terrain. All right, 1 point in defense. Just 115 speed is what we need. You can go 113 or even 112 just for outspeeding those base 100s after a +1 boost. But I like to outspeed those speed creepers, so I just go 115, and then the rest in Spadef. All right, and then from here, of course, Grassy Glide. Okay, Fake Out is good. Now, the one thing that I have been using that has been coming in quite clutch these last couple weeks, especially even in Series 10, was this Drum Beating tech. Again, this is that speed control move that Rillaboom gets. Really helpful here. Okay, so multiple forms of speed control with the Scary Face, the Bulldoze, the Drum Beating, and of course you already know what we're getting from the Regieleki with the Electroweb. So 4 moves of speed control, really nice. I like to have a harder hitting Eleki. Now you can go Focus Sash, but you know this is for cowards, all right? So if you're a coward, let me know in the chat if you're gonna do Focus Sash Eleki like this. Nah, man, we want Magnet. All right, we want violence on this channel. So Electroweb, Thunderbolt. Okay, now you can go Volt Switch. All right, but again, you know, I'm not really dodging too many Max Quakes here. You know, I have 3 ground weaknesses, which is a little bit unusual for Cloverbell's team. But I still think this is still fine in terms of the 6. So what I like to do here is just go with Eerie Impulse, just so that I can punish those special attackers that like to Dynamax turn 1, especially like a Dialga. So, and then protect in the last slot. So yeah, this is my Regieleki, and then just max. Of course, we're going Tibet here. Okay, so overall, I think on paper looks pretty cool. Again, let me just upload this paste here. Okay, yeah, it's lagging a little bit. It's coming. And there it is. Okay, so there's our, on paper, there's our Kyurem-White team. So yeah, let's just go ahead and take a look at a few damage calcs, not too many, and then just test it out in a few sample battles. Okay, so just to show you a little bit with the Rillaboom here. Yeah, weird that I'm starting off with Rillaboom. So, you know, right off the bat, like if you're going against 252 Zacian, if you want to adjust your Rillaboom spread so that you can live the Behemoth Blade without the use of Reflect, this is what you do. So let's just figure out, and let's just play with the EVs here. And yeah, well, let's do one more. Okay, no, one more. Okay, right here. So if you have Rillaboom at 212 HP, right, you can live a Behemoth Blade from a 252 standardization, right? If this is something that you care about, you can do it. But I rather just go for, you know, enough optimization for grassy terrain and then just dump the rest in my attack and a little bit of Spadef, because I have Reflect on the team anyway, and you know you will live the Zacian Behemoth Blade with the Reflect going up. So yeah, that's one thing that you have to consider. The other thing is, can you live the Landorus Airstream with Reflect up if you have a Rillaboom? Alright, so let's just go to a standard Lando set here. So Max Airstream from Lando. So you have a chance to live it. It's still not an amazing roll, but you know, for 43%, you know, I'll take those odds. Which means, you know, I've got a 60 plus, no, sorry, about a 57% chance to live. I mean, sure, you know, I'll take those odds, and then I'll neutralize that speed boost with a Drum Beating, and you know, I'm fine with that. So those are 2 interesting calcs you want to consider for Rillaboom. So let's just take a look at some of the others. Okay, so this is Calyrex Shadow going up against our Entei. So, you know, we have the Assault Vest, right, on our Entei, and we take Astro Barrage relatively well. And if we have a light screen up, this Astro Barrage just absolutely does nothing. It's like 3-hit KO, and then we can just punish Calyrex with Snarls, and, you know, -1 Snarl is all you really need against Calyrex. I really like that calc, but what's also kind of cool with Entei is the calc against Gmax Lapras here. So let me just go here. So with a Dynamax Lapras. Let's assume this is Life Orb 252. Max Geyser with Light Screen up does not even kill our Entei. That just means we have good EVs or Lapras just sucks. But yeah, if you're up against Gmax Lapras, you can just safely lead Entei, Grimmsnarl, click Light Screen, you know, click Snarl, and just make that Lapras useless, and then just come in with Metagross in the back and smash it. All right, in all honesty, I mean, even it's just funny how it just lives this. All right, now in terms of Zacian, now you're not going to KO Zacian, right? But you can still do big damage to it. Let's go to a standard Zacian. So let's take away the Dynamax. So Sacred Fire, again, not big damage, not enough to KO a standard Zacian, but enough where, like, you know, you live everything it does. And especially if you have a Reflect up, you can just punish it and burn it potentially. But yeah, ideally, you know, you're not too worried about Zacian as long as you got Entei on the field. And if you got Reflect, then you're just chilling. All right, so those are some key Entei calcs. All right, now let's take a look at Kyurem. Okay, the main thing to understand with Kyurem-White is the fact that you cannot live Zacian. So if you Dynamax your Kyurem and Zacian clicks Behemoth Blade, even with Reflect Up, you're dying. So you really need the speed control on the Zacian first, because with a Max Quake, you can kill it. And even if you are not Dynamax, you still have a chance to also OHKO the Zacian with just a regular Earth Power. So get the speed control on the Zacian first. Get a Bulldoze, an Electroweb, a Drum Beating, a Scary Face on it, something. You know, just make sure you get it first and then KO the Zacian, because, you know, you're not living that Behemoth Blade. But any other calcs are really not necessary. You're gonna kill Kyogre, and then I'll just show that calc real quick. So Kyogre, let's just say it's a custom Kyogre or a regular standard modest Kyogre set. Freeze Dry just absolutely obliterates this thing. You know, it just doesn't do well against Kyurem. So yeah, I mean, even Water Spout or Origin Pulse, again with the rain, not enough. Freeze Dry, it just ends the game. And if you opt to go modest, then this is pretty much a one-hit KO. But 96% max is, or even like low roll 80, that's really all you need against Kyogre. But you got enough with Rillaboom and Regieleki. The Kyogre should not be a problem for this Kyurem-White team. But again, the Zacian is what's important. So get the speed control on the Zacian first, and then you can KO it with Max Quake. All right, now let's take a look at some sample battles. All right, man, I don't know what this guy's doing with this Sableye, Ditto, Ho-Oh stuff. And there's a Ferrothorn in the back. I feel like if you just replace the Blastoise with like Lapras or something, this is already a little bit better. But Grimmsnarl does really well here, especially if we can wall out the Ho-Oh and the Blastoise. The Ferrothorn could be an issue, but we have an Entei, so I'm not too worried as long as we have it in the back. But, you know, he's got two dark types. Grimmsnarl is going to do really well here. So, of course, I'm going to lead the Grimmsnarl. Alright, Urshifu, Sableye, he actually leads the two dark types. And I go with Grimmsnarl Elec here. So, my idea is this. I can just KO this Urshifu right here, right now. I don't know which one has the sash. I'm going to say the Sableye has the sash. And this Urshifu has, like, you know, something like Choice Band. So, I'm just going to click Spirit Break on this thing and, you know, just protect my Elec against whatever the Sableye wants to do. Maybe he wants to break my sash. It feels weird protecting in front of Urshifu, but it's still okay because I'm going to kill it anyway with a Spirit Break. He actually maxes the Urshifu, believe it or not. And, you know, he wanted to quash my Elec and just kill it with a one blow. I don't think that was necessary at all because now you just pretty much lost your max with Grimmsnarl here. So now I'm just going to bring in Kyurem here. I can just go for Max Hailstorm on the Sableye. And, you know, if it has Sash, it'll die. And then Grimmsnarl just kills the Urshifu. So, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do here. He actually clicks Ally Switch. I mean, that works for me. Because now your Urshifu's dead. And now I just click Spirit Break on your Sableye. And, you know, it doesn't kill. But, you know, it is what it is. And what's in the back? Is it Ho-Oh? So, again, you know, Max Wormwind is really good, right? So, and then the Grimmsnarl, I can just click Reflect just to, you know, not have to worry about Ho-Oh here. He goes for Ally Switch again. I don't know what he's doing, so you know, this is why you don't need ally switch on your mons. It just doesn't do anything. You're just giving me free turns. So he burns the Kyurem, doesn't do anything because I'm a special attacker. Goes for a Quash. I mean, sure. He actually has Heat Wave, so this is a mixed Ho-Oh for some reason. All right. So anyway, we take it out with Spirit Break, and there goes the Sableye. And that's pretty much all she wrote because I have everything else in the back. I have an Entei. If this is Ferrothorn, it's dead. It's actually just Ditto. So this is where the Clover Tech comes in handy because we're just going to Scary Face the Ditto and just hit it with a Draco Meteor, and then that's game. So yeah, I mean, nice job with the Ditto there. But yeah, that was a pretty easy one. Let's just take a look at another. Okay, so this is Zacian, right? And again, we have to be careful because we need the speed control first, and he has his own speed control with Whimsicott, and maybe the Thundurus is Prankster for some reason. But then I don't think so, because then what do you max, right? You can't max any of these except the Thundurus. So I think this is Defiant. But either way, he's gonna bring the Whimsicott, and I'm just gonna go with the all other mode that we have on the team. Alright, so there's Zacian, Whimsicott. Of course, I'm going to go Entei Metagross here into this. So right away, I'm thinking a couple things, right? You know, I could kill the Zacian right here, right now. But I'm going to expect he has a brain and clicks Protect or substitute on this thing. So I just want to remove the Whimsicott just so that, you know, I don't have to deal with the late game Tailwind. Because Zacian right now doesn't really threaten Metagross or Entei. I mean, it could click close combat, but then you're just forced to switch next turn because I have Max Quake and a Fire move on Entei. So I'm just gonna remove the Whimsicott here. All right. So it goes for Tailwind. That's expensive. Swords Dance. I don't know about that. So I get the speed control on the Zacian with Bulldoze, and look, he has no bulk. Look how much damage Bulldoze did, and there goes the Whimsicott, right? So I don't know why he clicked Swords Dance. Only I can run Swords Dance Zacian. That's my tech. Nobody here can run Swords Dance Zacian. That's my tech. Okay, so there it goes. And then here's the Instant. That's not going to do anything. So I can click Max Quake on whatever I want here. I don't think he has the Thundurus in the back, but, you know, I'll just get the defense boost anyway. All right, so he goes for close combat. That does nothing. Now you just lose the game because there's the Sacred Fire. You know, I could have clicked Max Quake, but yeah. And again, there's the value of Metagross. Parting Shot from Instant does nothing. All right, and he has the Rillaboom in the back, so that's pretty much game. He can't beat me here. So, I mean, there was no max option. See, that's the problem with his kind of team. There's no max, except your Thundurus. So, yeah, let's just take a look at one more just to wrap up the video here. Okay, so this is Calyrex, right? And another Whimsicott, and he's got a Dracovish, and he's got Indeedee Ursh. Okay, so, you know, maybe Metagross is not ideal here, but Regieleki is, and something like Rillaboom in the back is also pretty good, but I like what I have with Regieleki as a lead here. So he goes Whimsicott, Dracovish. I'm going to go Aleki and Entei. Okay, so my idea is I'm going to Extreme Seed the Dracovish and then just kill it with Aleki. And it's funny how he clicked Tailwind, but the Dracovish was just not faster than my Aleki here. So yeah, I guess it wasn't Scarfed. Alright, so that was a mistake. So here's the Urshifu. I'm just going to go into Rillaboom here. I'll take the Wicked Blow. Alright, and he actually goes for the Aleki. So I could have stayed in with the Entei. I thought he would actually kill the Entei because that's what has Snarl to threaten his Calyrex. Alright, but now I have Kyurem here. Alright, I can just, you know, click Fake Out on the Urshifu. He goes for Moonblast, but again, that's fine. Because now I just go for Hailstorm. Remove the Whimsicott just in case there was Sash. But now he has just one turn of Tailwind, and I expect the Calyrex to come in, but instead, to my dismay, it actually is the Indeedee. I don't know why did he bring this? He didn't bring the Calyrex, so I'm a little confused by that. But then that just means it's game, all right? Because, you know, he goes for the Rillaboom instead, and there's the Dazzling Gleam. I thought he probably could have just doubled the Kyurem right there, but he chose to get rid of my Rillaboom. But anyway, I was going for the Drum Beating tech, but here comes Entei, and yeah, that's pretty much game. I mean, he didn't know what to do. So yeah, very interesting battles, but yeah, let's just look at the pace one more time. Okay, so this is a look at our pace one last time. So again, you know, I feel like we built it as well as we could given this 6. You know, we've got lots of speed control options with Bulldoze, Electroweb, Scary Face, and now we even added Drum Beating on the Rillaboom. Metagross is always a good max. Just got to get it in that right position. Grimmsnarl does Grimmsnarl things with screens. We have Fake Out, okay, with the Rillaboom. Kyogre is not a problem for this team, and Zacian, you just got to get the speed control. You have the Entei, just make sure you preserve it. But yeah, you know, against Lapras, you got Metagross, you got Rillaboom, you got Regieleki. You know, you're fine there. Calyrex, you got Grimmsnarl and Entei for that. Regieleki helps you out there with Electroweb and Eerie Impulse. And, you know, Kyurem-White, you know, you're good against other Dragon Restricteds, right? Because you have your Dragon Stab, you got an Ice move. You know, overall, it's just I think it's a solid team. You know, some people probably want to put Whimsicott in the Grimmsnarl slot. I mean, sure, you can do that. You know, I just prefer the screen support. It helps me a little bit better, especially in like a best of 3 format. So yeah, let me know what you think of this one. This will be another rental that we'll release in January. But yeah, until next time, we've got one more team building video. That's going to be Yveltal. All right, so stay tuned for that one. Have a good one.